everyone, and welcome to our 22nd virtual Vino with DMV Distributing. I'm joined today by Monica, my awesome coworker here at DMV Distributing with me. Those of you that are joining, we have up on screen there the 4 amazing, delicious summertime wines that we'll be drinking this evening. Actually, Monica's already showing off with her Kuma bottles that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. Love the blue one. Tell Patrick that I want that one. And I don't think that those are posted on social media yet, so we'll get to that, but they definitely need to be soon. And the tan one's great. You guys did a great job. But welcome everyone to another edition of Virtual Vino, and happy Friday. Thank God we all made it to this Friday. We're here to really sit back, relax, enjoy some amazing food pairings tonight with you, talk about how you can really show off really great wine and really great food choices this summer. You don't need to put in a lot of money or effort into your summer cookouts, your summer barbecues, your summer dinners to pair with wine. And remember, you can always pair wine with a cheeseburger. So it is not necessarily those huge expensive steaks that you have to, actually enjoy wine with. You can enjoy wine with just about anything. And we'll let you know which wines to pair with whatever you like to eat. Now, we'll be talking to Monica later. She's actually kind of in the industry of food as well as wine. So she's a great addition to our show this evening to talk about food and wine pairings. I know that a lot of restaurants that you all may go to, even right now during COVID, they have really great wine lists for you. That really help and guide you to what to pair with your meals. So always trust those. Always ask, your servers. If they don't know, they might go to their manager or other staff members that might know a little bit more about what you're picking and which wine that they serve that'll go better with it. Now, like I said, as always, please comment, ask us questions. Give us a shout out. Hi, Anna. Oh, yeah, Lambers. I am on actually a really big turkey burger kick right now. And I absolutely love Aldi. And they have some of the best already pre-seasoned turkey burgers that you can get for a great price. And let me tell you, and they would really, really pair well with the Paxis Red even that we're going to be drinking later. Now, I'm Devin, the wine specialist with DMV Distributing. Like I mentioned, Monica, thanks so much for joining us once again. Yeah. I'm going to let Monica explain a little bit of her background in just a moment with the restaurant industry as well, because I was a bartender at one point during college, and I'm still like a guest bartender here and there. But I cooked in an Italian restaurant as my first job, which was always great. But I was 14 at the time, so I knew nothing about wine pairings at that point. But it is a really great thing, and it can make your dinner so much better if you pair the right foods with wines. Mm-hmm. So Monica, if you want to share your background in the restaurant industry, where you worked before. I know Barry. Hey, Barry. He's pointed out to me a few times in Annapolis, and it looks like a really great place, and I'd love to visit as well.
Annapolis is a really great place, and it's situated right between Baltimore and DC. We have all these wonderful restaurants, great chefs. The Annapolis scene is a little bit more low key, but we still get a bunch of influence from the DC and Baltimore metropolitan areas. And we get chefs there that, they want to experiment maybe on a smaller scale. And we have, places like Level, which is the tapas bar. And, we have everything from bars and grills to fine dining restaurants, which that was my last restaurant, was Carroll's Creek. And that is a lovely fine dining establishment. So that's where I really got introduced to wine and how wine corresponds with everything on the menu, and how that really does enhance your dining out experience. So I think it's a wonderful thing. I've spent almost 30 years working within food. So it's been a long time. And now my main focus, of course, is wine. So I'm really excited to be with DMV and be able to bridge the two loves of my life there. between food and wine. So I appreciate the opportunity. And that's about it for me as far as my history goes. You don't want to hear too much of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that a lot of people don't necessarily think about how much better their dining experience can be if they pick the right wine.
Right.
Obviously, we all drink wine, one, because, it might loosen you up. It just makes you feel better. After this week, I can tell you, a few glasses is going to definitely, cheer me up a bit. But, especially a pairing and socially out with friends dining, it does bring that extra, extra level to your dining experience. And for those of you that might be watching that work in the service industry, the more wine people drink during your evening and the more that you can suggest great wines and food pairings, the higher your tab, the higher your tip. They might be a little tipsy and then even the higher your tip at that point. So, I think it's all interconnected and something awesome to talk about.
Right.
Now, before we get started with our Chardonnay this evening, Monica, and I did make something to pair with the Chardonnay for dinner tonight. My mom already had a plate and said that it was delicious. I waited to eat my plate, but it's sitting right beside me and it looks fantastic. I'm not much of a cook, but when I, take the time, I can whip up a nice dish. Monica has her 2 Akumas out here, right here for you. Now, the Akuma Challenge with Ego Bodegas ends August 31st. So we wanted to remind you all that are joining us, run out, get a great bottle of Akuma from Ego Bodegas. Yana is going to be joining us on September 11th at 7 p.m. This is a worldwide coloring competition of this fantastic red blend.
Right.
So here's my edition. Monica has Patrick's and her son's there to show off for you guys. So remember, if you have any questions about where you can find the Akuma around Maryland or DC, just write us on Facebook, ask us where you can locate it, and we'll definitely help you all out. And even better yet, if your favorite store doesn't carry it, just ask them to contact DMV. We'll make sure you get some Akuma so that you can take it home. Have your kids color them. I mean, Monica's son colored one, her husband colored the other. Monica, are you going to color one?
No.
Coloring one? No.
Okay. I'm not the artist in the family. Like, there's 3 of them. I can do other things. I can cook and things like that. My artistic ability is not with a paper and pen. So
okay,
I can write and I can cook, but
gotcha. Okay. I was just interested. You never know, though. Maybe after tonight, after a few glasses of wine,
what kind of hidden talent someone might have. I mean, obviously this is my husband's and he did an excellent job. And my son, who is 16, colored the other one. So, I mean, and I'm extremely proud of both of them. They did a fabulous job.
They did a great job. And you can see on our DMV Facebook page, as well as our Instagrams, how you can also participate. There's some other great submissions. Our delivery driver actually did that top middle one with the mask. So perfect for COVID times there. But I mean, some great submissions have already been sent in. And like I said, open to everyone. So please go out, have some fun, do some arts and crafts, drink some delicious wine. This 91-point rated wine. So, more fun the merrier right now. Yeah, thanks, James. Exactly. It's a great bottle to start with, and we just wanted to do something fun for you all. So here we are. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us. All right, guys. So we are going to start with the Line and Dove Chardonnay. Now, I absolutely love to start out with this wine this evening. Like I mentioned, I did pair a dinner with it that I made. Now, we were talking the other day about how we wanted to theme our evening about wines. And what is everyone doing right now? I cannot tell you how many Instagram and Facebook photos I see of people actually taking the time to make delicious dishes for their family. Even their wines, even if they have their craft beers, they're trying to think about different ways to pair cocktails and their dinners, this and that. And then it's not stopping them from taking that glorious Instagram photo and posting it, which I love. I love all the foodies that post their great pictures and take the time to make something delicious and good looking for themselves or their families. But Dave McIntyre from the Washington Post recently wrote an article about what wines to pair and drink with this summer, especially with lobster rolls, barbecue, or your other favorite summer foods. So, he also expressed in the article that, he's not saying that you can't have your big honking reds with your big honking grilled steaks, as long as you chill the wine slightly, because like we mentioned in our previous virtual vinos, don't be afraid to chill your reds, especially in the summertime. All of us drink our reds far too warm anyhow. But, this is the perfect time of year to especially explore the lighter wines that might be a little bit lower in alcohol compared to your traditional reds that you think, okay, I'm going to pair a wine with dinner. Okay, let me get this really full-bodied Cabernet Sauvignon that's, almost 16%, and I can just pair that with anything. No, don't be afraid to pair this delightful Lion and Dove Chardonnay with your summer meal. Now, do you want to know what I paired it with?
What did you pair the Chardonnay with?
Okay, so for those of you that may have the Lion and Dove Chardonnay with you, this is one of my favorite Chardonnays. I absolutely love it because it's just slightly oaked. All of the Lion and Dove wines are gluten-free, they're vegan-friendly, they're kosher for Passover. So especially if you have friends over for dinner, this is a wine that you can share with anyone. So I did make a dinner that you can also share with everyone. Now, mind you, this is a vegan wine. I did add chicken to mine because I did want protein, but I made an Alfredo spaghetti squash and broccoli meal. I also added red pepper to it for a little bit of crunch, a little bit of a zestiness there. But your Chardonnay really pairs with anything with that really nice, thick, creamy sauce. Now, this is just like a portion to show you guys. Trust me, when I actually eat this later, I'm gonna fill it all up. You can leave the chicken out for those of you that are vegetarians. All of the Lion and Doves, like we mentioned, are vegan. So, it's a really great wine, especially this Chardonnay, to pair with anything that has like that nice, creamy, rich Alfredo sauce. And Anna, yeah, it's really delicious. Apparently, I think Mom is on her second. She said she's on her second. Sorry, Gina, I made you hungry. But exactly. So, that's a really light. The spaghetti squash is one of my favorite alternatives compared to noodles. It doesn't make you feel very full. It's super easy to cook. It's time consuming once you just put it in the oven. And if you guys are interested in the recipe, I can write down the recipe for you guys as well. This is just something that I kind of made up on my own. I'm not a chef or anything like that compared to Monica, but it's just something nice, light, perfect for summertime, and like I mentioned, easy to share with your friends, and especially with this very easy to drink Chardonnay. Now the Chardonnay, a silver award from the World Value Wine Challenge in 2019. One thing that you might not know about the Lion and Dove, and I have people ask me all the time, is who came up with the label? This label for Lion and Dove was designed by a tattoo artist in Frederick, Maryland. So local in Maryland, designed, absolutely love the labels. If you guys see Lion and Dove out and about, definitely grab yourself a bottle. Now, okay, I see a question there. Now, Monica, I know you can answer this one as well. What makes a wine not vegan? We have there.
So a vegan wine, typically it's going to be in the fining process that it stays vegan, because of course grapes are a plant-based product, or they are just plants. So of course, most people think that all wines are vegan, and they're not. During the fining process, they can use things like fish bladder and egg whites and other items to fine out all the impurities in a wine. I do believe that Lion and Dove uses clay to fine theirs. So that's what keeps theirs vegan. This is also a gluten-free wine, as well as kosher, like Devin had said. So, there are definitely things that you want to watch out for if you're, looking to stick to a dietary, a certain diet like veganism. Then you want to make sure that you are checking to make sure that it is marked vegan. And this one is marked on the back right here. and it is also marked kosher for Passover and gluten-free right on the label. So those are things that you want to watch out for. Not every wine is vegan, and not every wine is gluten-free automatically. So it's definitely during the processes, and it is a winemaker's choice whether or not they go that route or not.
Exactly. And I think another great thing about the Wine and Dove Chardonnay, I've met so many people, myself at one point being included, that were the ABC crowd, anything but Chardonnay. Because if you really tasted those California Chards that are very heavily oaked, they're super rich, very buttery. Some of them are extremely sweet at the end, and they kind of, if you're a Sauvignon Blanc lover like myself, or even Pinot Grigio, you love that crisp, dry wine, you're maybe going to steer away Chardonnays like that. I'm not saying this isn't oaked. It is very lightly oaked, but it is very well balanced. I think that's why I love this Chardonnay, is that it's super well balanced. There's definitely a little bit of a creaminess to it, a little bit of a butteriness, but it's not overwhelming like some that I'm sure that you've tried as well, Monica.
I was definitely part of that ABC crowd. I did not like Chardonnay. That malolactic conversion was not something that I enjoyed. That heavily oaked flavor where it pronounced all those secondary flavors, it was not something that I enjoyed at all. I do enjoy the Lion and Dove. It just does have just a touch of oak, so it gives it a little bit of depth of flavor. But it still retains all that fresh fruit, like the fresh apple and pear notes, and even a little bit of the tropical fruits in there. So I absolutely enjoy the Chardonnay. It's one of my favorites. I got caught today in traffic, and I had big plans to make a wonderful meal tonight. And I was going to start off with the appetizer, and the appetizer was going to be roasted artichokes tonight with an olive oil drizzle and with roasted garlic. And so keeping with the vegan and gluten-free. So I was trying to go that route, and it didn't work out in my favor today. And I'm very disappointed because I had a plan, but so I don't have pictures of it, and nobody's actually enjoying it. And maybe now that I have the bottle open, I'll go back and I'll make that. Because, like I said, roasted artichokes with some roasted garlic and a nice olive oil vinaigrette on top. Man, I was looking forward to that.
That sounds delicious. I've never been into artichokes, but, I think that you just made them. I would try it, Monica, for sure. Now, those of you, I know a few of you out there posted earlier as well that, you have the wines this evening. So please let us know what you're also tasting with the Lion and Dove Chardonnay. This Chardonnay has a lot of fruity aromas. It has a really great flavor of orange cream. I don't know if any of you, especially the summertime, even the label thing makes you think of that, the orange cream pops that in the summertime. This has, especially once you leave it in your mouth a few minutes, just like not even a minute, but just kind of swirl it about. You're really going to taste like that really nice, light orange cream flavor. It's got a little bit of a ripe mango as well. But like we mentioned, it's very crisp, absolutely delicious. And just, that little bit of a light oak flavor that I think adds to the cream flavor, along with that citrus. So you get that orange cream. I think without the oak, it wouldn't have necessarily that creamy flavor, which, like I mentioned, is why it pairs delightfully with an Alfredo creamy sauce.
Right.
And perfect for summertime, everyone.
Perfect for summertime.
Great. There's another Kara. Yeah, not a fan of Chardonnay, but this is quite tasty. Absolutely.
Right.
I think that a lot of us, and especially it's like if you try one food item from a restaurant and you're like, oh no, that restaurant sucks. Well, maybe try something else from that restaurant, because something else might be more to your tasting. So I think that a lot of times with wine, don't be afraid to, even more so, okay, I didn't like oaked Chardonnay. So definitely ask your liquor stores, even try and find on the bottle. Usually it'll be stated on the bottle if it's oaked or not. But we have so many apps on our phones now. Even you can Google it on your phone that, okay, this one's not oaked. This is made in steel. Let me give it a go. Kara, those are the Chardonnays that I absolutely love. And some of those have become my favorite go-to summer wines recently. And I never thought I would say that about a Chardonnay. But when friends are coming over, I'm like, okay, let me pop some Chardonnay in the fridge so that we can enjoy it together, which is not something I ever thought that I would say, but I'm saying it. It's like we mentioned, and overall, just with the Line and Dove Chardonnay, it also goes great with salad, creamy vegetable soups, salmon, tuna, spicy chicken dinners, risotto, if you like it, or also my spaghetti squash with chicken Alfredo.
Yeah.
Who knows? Mike is so good. I know I'm biased because I have access to Line and Dove wines all the time, but so delicious. Light oak and light butter. They go so well with food by themselves. Yep. Exactly, Mike. Yeah. You can pair this with food or you can drink it all by itself. Honestly, I drank some while I was making my dinner earlier, and it's even better with the dinner, but it was amazing before the dinner. So exactly. Thanks, Mike. All right. So I am ready to move on to our reds, Monica. Now, I think one thing that is interesting as well is from Dave's article that I read in the Washington Post, was his third summer principle about wines is that rosé. Now, we're not tasting a rosé this evening, but as we go into drinking our reds tonight, I think that one thing to mention, and we've shared with you all quite a few delicious rosés in the past. Line and Dove has an amazing Washington Post acclaimed rosé as well. But rosé also goes with just about anything in the summertime. So remember, rosé in the summer, it pairs with just about anything as well.
Absolutely. He said the third summer principle is rosé, and it goes with just about anything, like you said, especially garlicky or spicy foods. And summer is rosé season. And think tomatoes. I mean, you want to match acidity with acidity. So your crisp whites and rosés are your best with salads, because of the vinaigrette in the or the vinegar in the vinaigrette. So, I mean, you have some excellent recommendations.
Yeah, something to think about, guys. All right, so we are going to move on to the Paxis Red. Monica's going to tell us a little bit about that. One thing before we move on to our Paxis Red, I want to also remind you guys, if you're in your liquor stores, keep a lookout for our virtual Vino tags. They're on all the bottles that we featured prior and leading up to virtual Vinos. So look at all those. I think Gina sent that in from one of her stores. So you see all the tags. All of those wines have been featured in a virtual Vino beforehand, or they're also upcoming. So there's also instructions on the back and a little bit about what we're trying to offer you guys. We know that it's hard right now, especially to try different wines out at restaurants, even in stores. We can't do our public tastings anymore. So something great about DMV is that we're really trying to help you guys out, as well. It's an excuse for us to drink with our awesome coworkers and special guests on a Friday evening happy hour. But really, all of you guys supporting us, writing in comments, questions, it's really great. But definitely keep a lookout for those. And then that way you'll know what we featured or even the upcoming weeks. And you can always ask your stores that as well. Thanks, Anna. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love the tags. They're really fun to put on the bottles too. I won't lie. I feel like I'm in a circus or a carnival game sometimes, and I just kind of like toss them about. And I think
like rain toss.
Yes, I literally have done that. Sorry, Alan, but I've done that before. Steve at Liquor Locker, if he's not on yet, he'll be on in a bit, and he'll be like, "I've seen this."
Yeah, I've watched her do this.
I have seen her do that. Yeah, it's happened. Yeah. All right. Oh, and did I mention our giveaways tonight? So keep asking questions, keep commenting. Jess showed us earlier our awesome Here Pop-Up Shop giveaways. Look at these awesome towels.
That's
I love wine. I'm drinking wine. The one that says I'm out of wine is really sad. The I miss wine is more sad. My friends are drinking wine without me, the mad face. Yeah. So we have 2 of those to give away tonight. So if you do get a shout out in the comment section by DMV Line and Dove, you'll see it on the side there. We're just going to be choosing 2 people at random so that we can send you those. If you do win either the 2 towels, just make sure that you send us to DMV's Facebook page and our messenger your address and your name so that we can make sure that you get them. Oh, hey, Steve. I wasn't talking about you.
Yeah. Make sure you comment. Let us know, what you're drinking, what you like about the wine that you're drinking. What your thoughts are about it, because we'd love to hear feedback from you. So anything you want to tell us, my hair is out of place, anything, that's fine. I've been self-conscious. I just got a haircut today, so my hair's in place, but that's not
I haven't
always.
had a haircut since before COVID, Monica. So if you,
You have long hair. I don't look very good with long hair, because then it just gets like I look like a boy, like it doesn't look right. I don't look right with it not cut and groomed. So I went to see my hairdresser today.
I don't know when it was. Just thought that I had a cat on my shoulder the one day when my hair was like this. So yeah, I know. Anyway, it's on to the Paxis thread.
Right? I'm losing my thing here. Okay.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yeah, so now we move on to the Paxis Red. This is 89 points from Wine Enthusiast, and it's designated a best buy. This is a Portuguese red blend from the Lisboa region, made with Touriga Nacional, Touriga Franca, and Tinta Raiz. This wine is a beautiful, I would say, medium ruby. Definitely notes of fresh cherry, raspberry, so it has a lot of wonderful fruit going on in the glass. Plenty of tannins, so it's going to pair well with a lot of red meat, but it also goes well with pork. That was what I was planning to make tonight. I made that the other night and I didn't bring it up, but I made some pulled pork, and this would go absolutely wonderful with it. It's dark, and with the bright fruit and the acidity that's present in here would pair well with something like that, something that's got some smokiness to it, because this has just a touch of that. Some spice flavors. I call this the cherry cola wine, because it kind of reminds me of like cherry and cola and those spice notes. It's one of my favorite wines. This is an everyday sipper. It's an excellent value. You can find this all over Maryland and DC. Inexpensive, and it is absolutely one of my favorites. And it's an accessible wine for everyone. If you want to bring sweet wine drinkers into real wine, this is a great start for them. You can pair this with food. This is fruit forward, medium bodied, red blend, an ideal way to create a wine enthusiast. So a fantastic burger and barbecue wine, although they will tell you to pair it with fried tuna, but honestly, you can pair it with anything. And like I said, you can find it in Maryland and DC for typically less than $10.99. So wonderful wine. I'm going to sip on this. I know Devin has a few things she wants to tell you about, and I know she made something good, so I want to hear what she made. What'd you make?
I didn't make anything for this one, Monica.
Well, come on.
Had I, like I mentioned earlier, I'm on my turkey burger kick.
Oh, yeah.
Especially a nice, juicy burger, a veggie burger as well. Just the consistency with a very light-bodied red blend like this would pair amazingly. All right, let's see what Kim's got it. Trying the Paxis now with my steak and mashed potatoes from a local restaurant. Yeah. Delicious. Kim, what restaurant did you get your steak and mashed potatoes from? We are based out of Frederick, Maryland, so we love to support our local businesses. So if your steak and mashed potatoes are good, let us know. If they aren't, don't mention it, because we don't want to make fun of them, but I'm sure they're great. Yeah, and exactly. I mean, a great wine. The QPR quality price point, are from DMV. The quality of this wine is absolutely amazing. And like Monica mentioned, if you have sweet wine lovers that are coming over for dinner, there's no better red to kind of just invite them to try than the Paxis Red. I mean, it's very nice and light, very fruit forward. Now, Jenna mentioned it finishes a little too sweet for us. Well, you've been drinking some of the heavier reds with us, Jenna. So, your palate definitely is probably matured throughout. So thanks for joining, especially. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those very chillable reds. as well that we've mentioned. You can definitely chill this wine, and it's going to even taste perhaps a little bit more crisp in some ways, but still that nice juicy flavor is going to pop right out and be very, very refreshing. I know I spoke last week about how rosé was invented for, the French very dry red wine lovers of the world. And they were like, oh, it's so hot, I can't drink my super heavy dry reds anymore. So that's why rosé was invented. But had they had the Paxis, which, it's from Portugal, but had the French thought of making a red blend like this, then maybe we never would have had rosé. Who knows? And then I would be really sad. So let's not bring that up.
I'm a rosé person too. I love rosé.
I love me some rosé. Exactly. All right. Kim said that she got her steak and mashed potatoes at Wilcomb's Inn. Okay. I'm not familiar with that one, but let us know if it's good. Oh, I'm not a big red wine drinker, but I do like this one. Thanks, Kim. Yeah, this is definitely a very inviting, really easy to share red wine. You would classify it as a dry red wine, but like we mentioned, very easy to pair. Average price is $10.99 in a store. So, even for those of you that don't have the Paxis Red Blend and you want a nice, easy to drink red with your friends, this is the one to go for. The label's always great. It's also a live label, which is always fun.
Right.
On it, you can't beat that. We've mentioned before in previous virtual Vinos about how Paxis was invented. And it was just essentially what they would call timeout in a UK game. So, take a time out, enjoy some Paxis with some friends, some great steak and mashed potatoes, especially your barbecue that you mentioned earlier, Monica, even some nice brisket. I'm a huge fan of pairing wine with pizza. So if you're a pizza lover like myself, this is a wine absolutely that you can pair with a nice light pizza. So if you're on the go this summer, you have the kids because they can't even go back to school right now. Pizza, you can also pair your wine with it. This is definitely the one for you.
Absolutely. And like I said, this is an every night kind of wine. So you can open this up. It's got a nice screw top. So that's a nice little advantage to this one. So you don't have to fiddle with the wine opener. So this really is for, your new wine drinkers. Like I said, this being so fruit forward and having so much of that wonderful fruit flavor up front, and still has a little bit of tannin to it. So it's definitely very pleasing to any palate.
Exactly. Now, Jenna, if you're still with us, let us know what you're also eating, if you are eating anything with the Paxis with us this evening. Now, you mentioned earlier that this wine tastes sweet at the end as well for you all. What you pair with your wines can also make the wine taste different, especially at the finish of the wine. So if you're eating something as well that's a little bit more salty, it could make the wine taste a little bit sweeter. So that might be something also that makes that wine taste a little bit sweeter at the finish for you. So all things to think about. Obviously, everyone's taste buds are a bit different, but like we mentioned, it's something fun to try out with. And as you try different things food pairing wise, it does change the way your food tastes and it changes the way that your wine tastes. So it goes back and forth. All right. Now, Monica, I know that the next wine is one of your favorites, the Tonel 46 Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes.
You cannot go wrong. The two most popular wine grapes in the entire world, the Cabernet Sauvignon. So we meant to both of them to show off for you guys this evening. But the Tonel 46 Cabernet Sauvignon, let us know what you guys still thought about the Paxis Red Blend. We're going to move on to a more full-bodied, drier red.
Right.
The Cabernet.
Now, because of my, we also have the Tonel 46 Malbec, but that's the one I had with me. So I don't have the Cabernet, but it's the same bottle. So you'll have to, Alan, don't fire me.
No one would have noticed. No one would have noticed.
Well, you know what?
I have it.
Okay. But yeah, I I didn't want to take the chance of somebody noticing and pulling it out and then being like, hey,
wait a minute.
right. Yeah, wait a minute. That's not what they were talking about. They were talking about Cabernet. And of course I was talking about Cabernet. But the Tonel 46 Cabernet, it is 91 points from James Suckling. And it also has 90 points from Robert Parker. It's produced with fruit from the Vale de Uco, Argentina. So this wine is a full body Cabernet and with some firm grainy tannins and high acidity. It's got a fresh finish with lots of tangy fruit. You definitely pair and enjoy this wine with food. Now, what was funny is a coworker of ours, we were taking a wine course, and one of the tricks was to take a little bit of salt on a wine like a Cabernet that was very tannic and very strong and very bold, and put a little bit of salt in your mouth and see how that changes the Cabernet.
Gina called out, Gina. Sorry, girl.
Right? That's right. But so that changes the flavor so much, just because those tannins in those big, bold reds like the Cabernet, they need something to play with. They need something to grab onto. That's why the Cabernet with a fattier cut of steak or something that has a lot of big, bold flavor on its own, it needs something to counteract all those tannins. And that's why they say pair a Cabernet with steak, because those play well together. They play off each other, just like the salt changed the flavor, it brought down the tannin level, and the salt flavor kind of dissipated just ever so slightly, because those two things go hand in hand and they really do interact well together. So the most common pairing you'll hear is Cabernet with steak, or Cabernet with, like this Cabernet with the brisket that you mentioned earlier. Like, you can't go wrong with that, or a big juicy ribeye. Or if you even want to do a bacon cheeseburger, you want to go something a little bit more summertime, a big juicy cheeseburger with some bacon on it. I don't think you can go wrong with that either. Again, it's pairing that fat with the tannin, and it's going to give you the best result and the best outcome with something like that. So the red ripe fruits in this, it has an impressive and great quality to price ratio on this. This one is typically, you can find this less than $16, typically around Maryland and DC. So it's a wonderful wine to have. And it can be an everyday wine as well, because it doesn't have to be weekend. It doesn't have to be, something that you pair just with, a weekend meal. You can find something during the week to pair this with, definitely. I tend to like Cabernet with a little bit of fig. I know that's a weird one combination, but this really does pair well with, especially like this kind of Cabernet from Argentina. Because this with barbecue and smoked and grilled meats present an opportunity to open the richer savory reds, preferably cooler than room temperature. So please remember that room temperature is not the 70 some degrees that you have in your house. It's typically closer to 65. And that's really the ideal temperature of a big bold red like this. So that way it really does open up and presents everything that it has to offer. So like I said, it is one of my favorites. It's probably why I don't have the bottle.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I was. Exactly.
If you don't, then you take the chance of somebody calling you out on it. And I'd rather be truthful than, try to get away with something like that. So, because we want you to know that. Oh, don't mind my dog either.
Yeah, they're calling you out right now, Monica. You're a better person than I am. I would have just, faked the whole thing and drank the Malbec instead. Now, an interesting thing about the Tonel 46 Cab. Now, this is a reserve, so they pick the highest quality grapes for in this 46. This is actually almost, to me, it's not very dry. If you think about a Cabernet Sauvignon and you automatically think that really full-bodied, Monica's not telling you that this is a super dry Cabernet from Mendoza, Argentina. Obviously known for their Malbecs. This Cabernet is one of my absolute favorites. It's probably my favorite Cabernet Sauvignon that we sell within DMV, because it's fermented in cement, first of all. So it's fermented in cement vats at the Los Toneles winery, Mendoza, Argentina. We'll post some photos of cement vats for you later as well. If you've never seen them, obviously everyone, what the oak barrels look like, this and that, but it's only in a neutral, nicely well-seasoned oak barrel for a year. So it's not a lot of time for it to get all those oaky tertiary characters of, that creaminess and everything, spiciness. It doesn't have that. This is a really full-bodied, easy to drink Cabernet. I mean, especially if you like the Paxis, definitely open this bottle right now. Enjoy it. This is also one that you can share with your friends that like sweeter wines. And I don't think that they're going to turn their nose up at all. I wouldn't be afraid to, even my friends that love only Moscato, I would at least make them try this. Like you mentioned, the color is absolutely gorgeous. I know that you don't have any with you, Monica, but I did take your glass, but it didn't last long. It's like Monica's long lost bottle. I don't know what happened to it, but it has a really great, intense, bright red ruby color, almost garnet red color. And it also has a little bit of a red pepper character to it. But like I said, not overly dry. It's so well balanced. This is a Cabernet. Average price $15.99 in store, which is a complete steal for this Cabernet. This is one that you could try and drink for, $40+ and you would be shocked that a store would sell it for less than $20. Yeah. Which is why I absolutely love working at DMV, because we do bring you guys really great, high quality wines for awesome prices. Because I'm telling you, you could blind taste this, and that's why it has such great ratings, though. A lot of those people that rate wines as a blind tasting, they don't know what they're trying. Anything 90 and above, especially, is an outstanding wine. And this is no different. And to get it for under a bottle to drink tonight.
And for less than $20, I mean, it is just an absolute steal. And to find something with that kind of value, that has been aged like it has, and has such the attention in the winemaking, you can really taste that it does come across in the wine. I've had it on several occasions, and I have to say it probably is my favorite cab that we have here at DMV. Just because, there is one other one, but I also like the fruit forward, so I think you know which one I'm talking about. But but this one has a lot of that fruit too. And so it's definitely one of my favorites. I love this wine. It's one I usually keep. So, and you're right. You can take this to a dinner party, and it will go over with just about everybody, because everybody who's looking for that big bold red will definitely find this very appealing, as well as those who are looking for something a little more fruity and maybe even have just that sweet touch to it. I think they'll definitely be pleased with the Tonel 46.
Exactly. And after all, you don't want to show up to a party and have something that everyone just puts their nose up at and doesn't like. Right. You want to be the person that brings along the best wine. So that's this entire line from Toneles. Exactly. Jim. The Tonel wine line, so amazing. Mendoza, Argentina, known for their delicious Malbecs. We had the Tronçon last week. On my Wine Wednesday this past week. There you go. So it's cement vat there. Some of them are egg shaped, some of them are not, but they're super fun to look at. Winemakers think that they're hysterical, in my opinion, from what I've heard. But exactly, so it's not heavily oaked. Cabernets don't have to be heavily oaked. So if you think that every dry red that you pick up in store is heavily oaked, not the case. Remember,
right? Yeah.
Use your smart boxes. Check them out.
Because I am one of those people too that when I go to the wine store, I don't want a Cabernet that's heavily oaked, and I don't want a Chardonnay that's heavily oaked. So I'm one of those, different people that I want to taste the grapes. Yeah, I want to taste what they have to offer, and this whole line is like that. They definitely, you can taste that. all the fruit in it.
Exactly.
So,
like I said, it's such an amazing wine. So for those of you that are drinking it along with us this evening, let us know what you think. Jenna wants to give a shout out here to Town Center Market. The past few weeks, they've had the virtual Vino bags filled and ready for pickup at the registers. That's what we like to hear.
Awesome.
Yeah, so guys, check out the bags in store. I absolutely love our virtual Vino bags.
Yeah.
They fit 4. I can fit probably like 8 in here. Really high quality bags, awesome logos on the front there for you guys. Support us. We support you guys. You can find them easily enough with the neckers there. But these are so easy to pick up in your local stores. And even if you guys are located in Maryland or DC around a store that isn't participating in virtual Vino, that's totally fine. Just tell them to contact us. You know, they don't have to participate every week. But if you're like, man, I want something fun to do with my friends this Friday night, they can get a bag. You can get a bag. You guys can even video from your phones. Enjoy, ask us questions, learn about wine. Both Monica and I are quite knowledgeable. If it's a question that we don't know the answer to, it's okay. We'll act like we know, you know, I'm just kidding. But, you know, there's almost no question that we don't know the answer to at this point. Right. Exactly. Yeah, Anna, great bag to cozy up your wine. I love
there you go.
Bag. We have our line and hold bags that just hold the 2, and now this one holds all 4 or 6.
Yeah.
Or you can put ice packs on the sides. The tiny slots with ice packs on the side, and I carry my wine around all day. So, you know. But exactly. So, you know, all the stores that are supporting us, we love you guys. And we want to support you all, especially through all this. We know that it's been a crazy couple months. Like I mentioned earlier, this is actually our 22nd virtual Vino with DMV distributing. I counted them. 22nd, Monica. So
22nd.
We don't plan on stopping even once, you know, we can do public tastings. Like I said, we have some really, really amazing special guests coming up for you. It's great when I can have my awesome coworkers on. But, you know, even more special when we can have winemakers, winery owners from all over the world join us, tell us about their experiences. We had Bryce on a few weeks back. If any of you were on with Bryce, and he was talking about the alcohol ban in South Africa. You all have an update. They lifted it. So they can now get wine there. So no one's being looted as much. But, you know, it's those awesome guests that, you know, we really want to continue having that relationship with and bring them to you all to learn more about wine, ask them questions, drink their great wines, and support awesome wineries like theirs.
I'd like to do a shout out to all the customers that went out to all your wine stores and all your liquor stores and asked for South African wines when they had their ban going on. I know that liquor stores and wine stores really did appreciate that. I heard from several that carried a few of our wines from Bryce that were just really excited to be able to offer something like that for the customers that were looking for it. So, you know, it's you, the customers, that really do drive what the liquor stores carry. And so if there's something you're looking for, definitely ask your liquor store and your wine shop.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. I know it was so rough for all of those wineries, but with the support from everyone, we're community. We love wine. You guys love wine. That's why we're here. Even if you don't love wine, but you know someone that does, and you're just trying to pick out a good gift from, definitely go out and buy this whole 4-pack and then make them a delicious spaghetti squash dinner.
Or you keep a couple for yourself and give one away.
This is true. Or you buy 2 4-packs. I'm just saying.
There you go. See, that's an even better idea.
Yeah. You see the salesperson in me there now.
Yes.
All right. So it is about dessert time then. We have a great wine lined up for you for dessert this evening. One of my favorites to show off during a tasting. Now, if you've been with us for even more than this is your first time joining us for Virtual Vino. Also, if it is, thank you so much for joining us. If you don't know, I'm Devin. This is Monica. But we are going to show off a really great Moscato tonight for you. Now, Jenna, what'd you try it with? Tried the Paxis with grilled pork. Still a little sweet for me, but the Tonel 46 is delicious. It is, Jenna. I love it. I absolutely love the Tonel. It's Like I said, that's why Monica didn't have any.
Right, because I drank it all.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, the whole Tonel line, they have the Tonel 22s, the 46s, 78s, but they also carry like the Malbecs, Cabernet Sauvignons, all absolutely amazing. So if you see those bottles with the big numbers on them in store, I don't think I've seen wineries with like the large font like that. So I don't think you're going to get confused.
Right.
Numbers, grab yourself a bottle. It's going to be delicious. All right, dessert time. Now, I did pair a dessert with my dessert wine, but
yeah. Pulled a berry there for a minute.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that kind of scoff at sweet wines, the people that, you know, if you only like dry wines, if you only like sweet wines, trust me, if you like wine, you like wine. There's some sort of that wine from any winery all over the world that they will make a blend of that wine that you might like. So for those of you who usually don't like Moscato wines because you find them syrupy, you find them super sweet, too sweet, this might be the Moscato for you.
Right. Yeah. And so now on to dessert. And dessert is the ideal time to crack open a Moscato, especially the low alcohol, spritzy Moscato, like the Lion and Dove Moscato. It's the weekend, and save some to enjoy with blueberry pancakes in the morning. You know, #brunch. So with the Moscato, I was going to make a fresh fruit compote with a little bit of creme fraiche. You know, this wine has just a touch of acidity to it, so it's not just overly sweet. And so I thought that would be an excellent pairing for that. And, but like I said, I don't have any pictures for you, but you can imagine a nice fruit compote with some creme fraiche. That's what I would pair with this one. So I know Devin was going to talk about the Moscato a little bit more. I was giving her a chance to get it open and pour herself a glass. And she's still laughing at me. I see her.
I just love the #brunch. I think that one thing to point out for those of you that have this Moscato, and yeah, I did pour myself a lot. It does have a lower alcohol content, so it's easier to share with your friends during brunch. They can drink more of it and stumble away less quickly of sorts. But this is a fantastic. Yeah, less stumbly. We're gonna make up words. But you know, I think a great thing, especially about the Lion and Dove line, like we mentioned earlier, all vegan friendly, gluten free, kosher for Passover. So this is a Moscato as well that there aren't additional sulfites either. So for those of you that have tried a sweet wine, you're like, oh my God, my head the next day. Right. It has a lower alcohol content, which also helps with the fact that it doesn't have as much sugar as other Moscatos that you've tried in the past, which is quite nice. You're not going to feel as headachy and half dead the next day, which is always great. But this is a great brunch Moscato. Honestly, this is a great Moscato for all times of day. Right. Surprisingly, has a nice effervescence to it. And this is one of my favorite wines to show off at a tasting, because even for those that love dry wines, when I pour them this Moscato, they're like, oh, this doesn't smell like a Moscato. This doesn't even, it doesn't look like a Moscato. It has a great color, a little bit of bubbly. It's more fizzy than bubbly. So it's different from your Prosecco's or your champagne. The bubbles, depending on the quality, are either large or small. This is a little bit more fizzy. And the great thing about that is it lasts the entire bottle. So even if you're having girls' night, like Monica and I are having right now, the bubbles last the entire bottle, which is so great. It's, like I mentioned, one of my favorites to show off. And for those of you that absolutely love Moscato and you're like, oh, that means that I'm not really a wine lover. No, Monica and I wouldn't have jobs if you didn't love wine. We sell this delicious wine for a reason, guys. But the great thing about the Moscato is that it's actually one of the oldest wine grapes on record. So Moscato, it can actually be traced back to ancient Egyptians, Persians. They were lording over everyone, petting their cats and being really cool, building pyramids and drinking Moscato. So Monica and I are basically Egyptians right now.
There you go.
Cheers. Now,
Cheers.
for those of you that are drinking along with us, I know, Kim, this is your first time on Virtual Vino. We absolutely love your comments and questions. Brunch is honestly like my favorite meal as well. But exactly, she says, I love this, has a great sparkle. Can you make mimosas with this? You could absolutely make cocktails with this wine, 100%. So if you love your mimosa, I would definitely just put a touch of OJ in this. You can put a little bit of mango juice would be great in this as well. Some of those more citrusy, juices, it would be great. Does it need to be? No, because it has a more full body than most of your Moscatos. It has a really great flavor. Like I mentioned, huge dry wine lover over here, but I would never turn a glass of this away. It's fantastic.
Right.
I would serve it super chilled, especially this summer. I would even, especially your chilled glasses. I'm always one where I'll have my wine glasses in the fridge so they're super, super chilled. And when you pour stuff in, your friends are, all excited that they have frozen wine glasses like you would in a wine bar or restaurant.
Right.
But the exotic fruit aroma that you get from this, the really fruity flavors, it's definitely one of the most expressive and full-bodied Moscatos that I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
And I think exactly. It's very impressive. For those of you that have tried it before, I don't think I've made anyone drink it yet, and they said that they haven't liked it. I don't think I can name one person. I've been doing so many events with Tag Magazine the past couple months. We're friends with Tag Magazine. Those of you that don't know, they're a magazine based out of Washington, D.C. And we've done some celebrity tastings with them to help them out as well. Whole line of Line and Dove. And even the girls beforehand, they've said, I really love my dark, fruit forward, the Cabernet, or even, something heavier than that. I don't think I'll like the Moscato. And I was like, well, we'll do that last, but you'll like it.
Right.
Loved it. Dominic Jackson from was on a couple weeks ago, was demanding more bottles from Ebony, their CEO of Tag Magazine. I mean, it's definitely a wine to pair with dessert. Like my turtle caramel cheesecake.
Ooh.
Oh my God, I almost dropped it on my computer. I forgot. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
I have to hold it on the plate so my little chocolates don't fall off. So something sweet, a little bit cheesy, because we know that cheese pairs really great with white wine, especially red wines. Cheese and wine go hand in hand. A little bit of caramel, a little bit of chocolate. There's your dessert. So you could also drink this wine as dessert, or you could pair it with dessert.
Right.
And it's tastes so much better.
I was eating some watermelon last night, and to pair the Moscato with watermelon, because it has all those fresh fruit flavors in it. This is going to be phenomenal. So I can't wait to have that after we're done tonight, because that's going to be my dessert tonight. It's just some fresh summer watermelon with my Moscato tonight. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, Steve, I see you. It's a fact that Egyptians invented brunch. That is a fact, I think.
Really? Huh. I
don't think so. Cleopatra actually invented brunch. Snakes long and whatnot. We don't know. All right. Kim just tested with a splash of OJ. Perfecto. Good work. Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't be afraid to, search it up. The great thing about all of the Line and Dove line is the average price for any of the Line and Doves are $11.99. So if you have a glass and you want to try something different, make a mimosa out of it. If you ruin it and it tastes disgusting, it's okay. Go out and get another bottle.
Right.
Oh yeah, we still have our towels to give away. Jess, I see you back there.
Right.
Save one for me, though. We'll only give away one. No, I'm just kidding. So, no, Monica, besides the food pairings that we've already suggested with the Moscato, you can also remember that you can pair this with dinner as well, especially this Moscato. You don't have to just drink this by itself as a dessert. You don't have to drink it with dessert. It would definitely go with poultry, Asian foods, spicy Indian dishes as well, your hard cheeses, which is why I paired it with the cheesecake also, but also I felt like caramel and chocolate. But besides the food pairings we've mentioned so far, I know that everyone around me locally loves AC&T fried chicken.
Okay.
And I think that especially during the summertime, it's a great barbecue wine. It's a great picnic wine. So would you agree as well that Moscato can go with fried chicken?
Yeah, perhaps not all Moscatos, but definitely this one. I mean, Dave McIntyre wrote about fried chicken in his backyard picnic article, and it would be great with the bubbles and the light effervescence of the Lion and Dove Moscato. So along with its fruity flavor and aroma, it would pair wonderfully, I think. Sparkling wine is the ideal partner for anything like crunchy, salty foods such as fried chicken, potato chips, popcorn. You can choose to splurge on some champagne or save with some cava or prosecco, depending on your budget and occasion. But I would definitely go with the Lion and Dove Moscato because, like you said, for under $12, it's absolutely a wonderful deal, and it can go with so many things. So I like the idea of pairing it with fried chicken. How about fried chicken, waffles, and banana and blueberry pancakes? And that sounds like a great brunch.
Brunch. I was going to say brunch. If you guys can get a hold of Monica and I on Sunday or tomorrow, brunch. Brunch and waffles. So let us know what you guys would pair this Moscato with if you're drinking along with us. Obviously, like we mentioned, you don't have to pair it with anything, but it is such a fantastic Moscato. Please give it a try. If you're going over to a friend's house for celebration, obviously now, is the great time to try new things. You're cooped up at home, which is why we've brought these great virtual vinos for you. Right. And congrats, Anna. You actually won one of the Here Pop-Up Shop wine towels.
Oh, yay!
That's your address so that we can get your awesome wine towel from Here Pop-Up Shop. Once again, thanks to Here Pop-Up Shop for the awesome wine towels. They're super fun. They actually have really great little emojis on them to express your love for wine or your sadness when your friends are drinking wine without you, which, it's kind of all of us right now, but we're almost together. And it's girls' night happy hour on a Friday night.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Now, Monica, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me again tonight. I know you had a rough day stuck in the car, and it's
didn't exactly go how I had planned. I had planned to stop at a few accounts and talk with them about other things, and it didn't work out in my favor. And get the smoker going, just didn't work out. But you know what? I'm glad I made it back in time to spend the evening with you and to spend the evening with everyone who joined us tonight. So I really do appreciate you taking time out and drinking wine with us and, learning about new wines. I think this is, one of the best things to come out of the whole pandemic is to be able to, socialize in a new and exciting in a different way. So I appreciate that all the work that Devin and Jess behind the scenes put into this. So I just want to say a great big thank you to you ladies, because without you, I had a hard time the week you were gone, by the way. So I appreciate all the work that you put into this, and I'm so grateful to you. So thank you.
I appreciate it, Monica. And once again, to everyone joining this evening, we know you could be doing something else, but we appreciate you spending the time to drink some wine with us for an hour, learning about new wines. Please share this with your friends. All of our previous virtual vinos are available to watch on our YouTube and our Facebook page. If you see the neckers and you're like, I wonder what that wine tastes like, you can always Google it, but you can also find those wines in previous virtual vinos. You can even ask us which video to pick. Just send us a message if you see a bottle that, okay, I want to learn more about that one. We'll just send you the link to the video to watch. Next week, we have a really great lineup. We have not yet featured our Johnny Q's. We have their Petit Syrah and Shiraz next week, two amazing, highly rated wines, as well as the Seaside Cellars, the Vino Verde and the Vino Verde Rosé. So some really great summertime wines for you next week. The Johnny Q's are absolutely outstanding for their price. So I'm really excited to share those two with you. All four of the wines next week are already available at Franklin's Restaurant, Brewery, and General Store, Liquor Locker Hagerstown, and Town Center Market. I'm sure that we'll have more stores join as well. if you guys live near stores, then don't have all 4 of those. Or even if you're like, I really want to try that Johnny Q Petite Sirah. Trust me, you do. Just tell them DMV Distributing. We'll help you out. And once again, we always post a poll after the video on our Facebook page as well. So you can vote for your favorite wine tonight. So hopefully if you guys didn't have the wines, you go out and get them. Yeah. Like what I mentioned earlier, you can always message us on DMV Distributing. Jess does a great job getting back to you guys. Good work, Jess. To let you know where you can find our wines. We sell over 200 different kinds of wines. So we know it's a lot, but we get you guys really great quality wines. We absolutely love them. Steve knows what I'm talking about. The Johnny Q's are fantastic. And maybe eventually we'll introduce the misses. But yeah, I think that it's so great for all of you to be here. Stacy, congrats on also winning the emoji towel from Here a Pop-Up Shop. Yay. When you guys get your email, make sure you tag us, send us photos as well. And yeah, enjoy your weekends. Remember, next week I'll be on here as well with you guys. As always, as your host of Virtual Vino with DMV, I'll be having another special guest on next Friday with me. And remember, color your akumas in the meantime. Go out, get a bottle, color the akuma. We want to see all of your great additions. After the video, go and like DMV Distributing's Facebook page. We'll make sure that we post how you can submit, where you can find the akumas. The deadline is August 31st. You guys have exactly 10 days to make a masterpiece and have you could win $250 worth of Ego Bodegas wine, which is a lot of amazing high quality wine. Like I said, Yana will be back on with me September 11th. We're going to announce the winner of the Akuma Color Challenge, and she'll be joining us for a couple of wines as well that night. I absolutely love when she joins. It's so much fun. Yeah. All right. Well, once again, thanks so much for everyone for enjoying. I will see you next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on DMV Distributing. In the meantime, enjoy all your wines that you opened. Enjoy the Moscato for the rest of the night. That's probably the first I would finish off tonight. You can save your reds for more barbecues this weekend, and your Chardonnay with a nice salad. Monday.
There you go. Cheers.